Welcome to the Here's My Story channel. I'm Logan. My dad was having a barbecue in the backyard with his friends. I tried to stop my brother Mason, but he wouldn't listen. He ran to them. My dad and his pals were happily chatting away when my brother screamed, "Everybody, look at me!" Everyone went quiet. I watched them nervously. Mason took a deep breath. Then he forced out a big fart. My dad was livid. His friends burst out laughing. My brother quieted them down by raising his hands. "Stop! Don't laugh! Smell it! Tell me, what does it smell like?" They all took a whiff. One turned to Dad and said, "What in the world?" Laughing, he said, "Your little boy's fart smells like vanilla ice cream." Mason giggled excitedly. "That's correct! That's the vanilla scent. There's another pill. When you take that one, your farts smell like coconut." My dad looked at me, perplexed.
"This isn't another one of your ridiculous inventions, is it? You humiliated me in front of my friends. I don't want to see either of you. Get out of here."
I knew my dad would get mad. Unfortunately, he never liked any of my inventions. My mom used to take pride in my inventions. I would tell her about my ideas. She would listen to every word I said. "These ideas are amazing," she would say encouragingly. We lost my mom 3 years ago. My dad was never interested in what I did. He always held me back.
"Drop this inventor nonsense and focus on your school. If you don't have a stable profession, you'll end up on the street," he would growl.
Despite my dad, I kept inventing stuff. I'm good at it, and I love doing it. Here, I'll show you a few of my inventions. For example, this one is called the hygienic finger. You use this finger to flush a public toilet so that your hands stay free of germs. This is a phone umbrella. This little umbrella protects your phone from the rain. It prevents raindrops from forming on your screen. You can see everything without any obstructions. Plus, you protect your phone from water damage. My dad thinks these inventions are nonsense, but I disagree with him, and my brother agreed with me. He thinks my creations are exciting. One day, Mason ran into my room all worked up. "My friend's little brother got lost in the playground. They found him after a 2-hour search. His mom had a panic attack. Do you think you can build something that prevents children from disappearing?" I thought about it for a second and had a great idea. "A pair of shoes with a GPS tracking system in the sole would solve their problem," I said excitedly. "Their mom could track the kid wherever he goes on her mobile phone." Mason's face brightened up. He loved the idea. "That's so cool! I want to become an inventor like you when I grow—" My brother collapsed before he could complete his sentence. "Mason! Mason!" I cried. He was unconscious. I called 911 at once. I called my dad. He rushed to the hospital. The doctors examined Mason for a long time, running all kinds of tests on him. Finally, a doctor approached to give us more information.
"I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Mason has a very rare muscular disease. Unfortunately, he may be confined to his bed for the rest of his life. There is an experimental treatment for the disease, but it's costly. A single dose may run up to $100,000 or more. Mason would need at least 1 monthly treatment for the rest of his life." $100,000? That's extortion! We can't possibly afford that! There's nothing else you can do?
Dad pleaded. The doctor shook his head and left. "Dad, we can sell our house to buy Mason the medicine. He's got to get better," I said. My dad frowned.
"Are you out of your mind? Did you not hear the doctor? Your brother needs to take that medicine until he dies. If we sell the house, we'd only be able to get him a few treatments. Then he'll be right back to where he started. I worked my entire adult life to buy that house. Use your head."
My dad had a point, but I wouldn't give up. I'm an inventor after all. I could invent something to bring in the money we needed for my brother's medicine. They brought Mason home. We laid him down on his bed. He looked exhausted. "We'll get you that medicine," I promised. "I trust you," was all he could muster before closing his eyes. I got to work immediately, determined to make my most wondrous invention yet. Until that time, I'd never had to think about making money with my inventions. My only focus had been problem solving. But this time, my design needed to generate at least $100,000 per month, which equals $1.2 million a year. I'd face my biggest challenge yet, but I had to do it. For Mason. We started eating microwave meals after my mom's passing, so I had an idea. A portable microwave. People could use it to heat or cook things while at a picnic or camping. After considering it, I realized developing and rolling out the product would take months at best. I didn't have that kind of time. I had to find a faster way to make money. A friend from school wanted to get a tattoo, but her mom said, "You're too young. You might regret getting a tattoo later. You'd have to live with it forever." When my friend told me, I had another idea. I could invent a chemical that removes tattoos. Thanks to my invention, they could get rid of the tattoo whenever they wanted to. No one would have to worry about regret in the future. I immediately started taking notes. The tattoo remover needed to be liquid. It was to be sprayed over the existing tattoo. It would make the tattoo ink evaporate, so there would be no tattoo left on the skin. I shared the idea with Mason. "We'll get you walking again soon," I said. He was so excited. I began doing research online. I had to find out how tattoo ink worked. A week later, I knew everything there was to learn about the chemistry of tattoo ink. Developing a chemical tattoo eraser was the next step. I set up a simple lab in my room, bought guinea pigs, and ordered a ton of chemicals from online supply stores. I worked night and day, developing different chemical formulae and experimenting on guinea pigs. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful. I couldn't crack a chemical formula that erased tattoo ink. Mason's condition was getting worse, too. I told my dad, "I'm begging you to sell the house. Otherwise, Mason may never have the chance to walk again."
"If you bring this up again," he threatened, "I'll kick you out."
I shuffled back to my room, disappointed, but I had to keep trying, for my brother's sake. I created a new chemical formula and filled a spray bottle. I'd tested on a guinea pig I had previously tattooed. I took the guinea pig out of its cage, and he ran away just as I sprayed it with the solution. The chemical compound settled on my phone sitting on the table. A dense cloud of smoke billowed from the phone. "No!" I yelled, backing away and covering my face. It would break if I didn't rinse it with lots of water, and if it broke, I couldn't get a new one. But when I touched the phone, it was too hot. I had no idea what was happening. The chemical compounds hadn't hurt me or the guinea pigs before, but this was the first time they'd hit an inorganic object and caused a reaction. When the smoke eased up, what I saw confused me. The affected area looked clear as glass. I hesitated before touching it, but it had cooled down. I picked it up and took a closer look in the light. This wasn't glass. This was diamond. My phone had transformed into a big chunk of diamond. I couldn't believe it, but the chemical compound I created to remove tattoos turned objects into diamonds. I grabbed the spray bottle and ran to my brother's room. His eyes lit up when he saw me. "Did you finally remove the tattoo?" he asked. "No, even better, and it was totally by mistake," I said. There was a small portable speaker on my brother's bed. I sprayed the liquid all over it. The same thing happened again. The speaker erupted in dense smoke. When the smoke cleared, it had solidified entirely into diamond. Mason picked it up in shock. "This compound turns objects into diamonds. We can get you your medicine. You'll be back on your feet in no time," I screamed. I couldn't sell the mobile phone or the speaker as they were. That's why I broke down both with a hammer. I sold the pieces of diamond to different jewelers across the city. I returned home with $400,000 in my bag. My brother and I were ecstatic. We called an ambulance to take Mason to the hospital. We bought the first dose of experimental medicine for $100,000. The doctors injected it into Mason's legs. In about 15 minutes, my brother was healthy again. He could walk. It was truly miraculous. Mason was so happy that he ran around the hospital. He was exhausted when he came back. "You are the most amazing inventor in the world," he said, hugging me. Mason and I made a pact. We weren't going to tell Dad about any of this. After all, he hadn't really cared about my brother's condition. Why should he share in the reward? When my dad came home, Mason opened the door for him. My dad was stunned and confused. Instead of being happy for my brother, he started questioning. He knew I'd been trying to develop an invention for my brother.
"Impossible. Where'd you get the money to buy the medicine? Did you steal it or something? Or was it one of your wild inventions?"
His belittling tone grated my nerves. Even so, I had to lie. "Mason was suddenly cured this morning. The doctors were wrong. He just started walking without needing medicine," I said.
"I guessed as much. You'd need to be more clever to invent something that big. You're just as much of a pretender as those quacks at the hospital."
My brother and I looked at each other and nodded. My dad didn't deserve to live comfortably on my money. His words only confirmed it.